The summer you thought was endless is about to change. Secrets buried under sunlit beaches will rise. Hearts will break, and one familiar figure you never expected is about to return. Are you ready to face the drama, the heartbreak, and the truth? The screen opens with the soft golden glow of a beach at sunrise. Waves lap gently against the sand, but the calm is deceptive. A single footprint appears, only to be washed away moments later by the rising tide, hinting that not everything lasts forever. Shadows stretch long, and silhouettes of three figures walking in the distance appear, faceless and undefined, their body language tense, shoulders heavy with unspoken words. The camera moves slowly over scattered objects in the sand, a sun hat lying abandoned, a broken seashell, and a half-buried note fluttering in the breeze. A heartbeat begins softly in the background, syncing with the rising music that starts to feel tense, almost like it knows something bad is coming. The camera pans to a crumpled photograph, edges bent, showing only blurred faces, the image partially hidden under sand. Text appears briefly on the screen, "This summer. Nothing will be the same." The screen flashes to a shadowed figure standing at the water's edge, looking out toward the horizon, alone. The figure's stance is heavy, almost as if carrying the weight of the entire summer's secrets. Cut to an over-the-shoulder shot of a hand clutching a folded letter. The handwriting is just barely visible, teasing at messages that carry heartbreak. Waves crash behind, louder now, drowning out other sounds. A soft whisper of a voiceover cuts through. "Some secrets can't stay buried?" The sound of the wind picks up, scattering the sand around the footprints as if time itself is erasing memories, showing the fragility of the moments just past. The music intensifies slightly as quick flashes of images appear, a silhouette turning sharply, a hand brushing across a beach towel, the slow falling of sunglasses from a ledge. Each movement is subtle but filled with tension. The text overlays continue, each word lingering just long enough to sink in. "Some hearts can't stay whole." A sudden shadow crosses the sand, a quick glimpse of someone approaching, faceless but purposeful, their presence almost threatening in its quiet intensity. Cutting back to the shoreline, the camera tilts down to a set of footprints diverging. One set heads toward the water, another toward the dunes, implying separation, conflict, and the inevitable distance growing between friends or lovers. The wind picks up, rustling the scattered letters and notes on the sand, while the soft glow of sunrise slowly transitions to a more muted, foreboding light, signaling that a calm day is about to give way to stormy revelations. A faint echo of laughter drifts across the screen, ghost-like, almost memory-like, contrasting sharply with the heavy tension. The heartbeat grows louder, syncing with a sudden thud in the music, hinting at approaching heartbreak. The camera pans over a shadowed figure holding something, a bracelet, a necklace, or a small keepsake, its significance unknown but heavy with emotional weight. The scene pauses on the object for a beat, letting the audience feel its emotional pull without revealing whose it is. As the first section closes, the camera cuts to a wide shot of the empty beach, waves crashing relentlessly. The sun now hidden behind gathering clouds. Text overlays for the last moment appear. The secrets are coming. The heartbreak is near. The music reaches a subtle crescendo before cutting to silence, leaving viewers on the edge, ready for the next section where the conflicts will deepen and emotions will escalate. The screen opens to a long shot of a quiet boardwalk, the ocean glinting dimly in the late afternoon sun. Shadows stretch across weathered wooden planks, hinting at hidden tensions. Silhouettes of characters are seen at a distance, faces intentionally obscured. But body language speaks volumes. One figure turns abruptly, another leans against the railing, shoulders slumped in defeat. The camera lingers on small telling details, a phone vibrating against a wooden table, a folded note left behind, a forgotten scarf fluttering in the wind. Music swells softly, melancholic and yet urgent, layered with faint sounds of seagulls and distant laughter that now feel hollow, echoing memories that aren't quite joyful anymore. A hand reaches out, hesitating, then retracts, symbolizing connection just out of reach. The camera shifts too. A close-up of droplets falling into sand, each ripple symbolizing emotional cracks in the relationships viewers have grown to care about. Text overlays appear one after another, brief but loaded. Betrayal, heartbreak, the summer you knew is gone. Cut to a dimly lit bedroom where a silhouette sits on the edge of a bed, head bowed, hands clenching a pillow. The scene is faceless, but every movement is heavy, each breath visible in the rising tension. On a nearby table lies a photograph, half obscured, hinting at love that now feels distant. The camera pans slowly across the room, capturing fragments of discarded objects, a half-full glass of wine, a torn-up letter, a single shoe left behind. Each object tells a story, hinting at arguments, misunderstandings, and moments of regret that are never fully explained, leaving the audience's imagination to fill the gaps. A sudden flash of sunlight illuminates a hand brushing across a table, revealing a phone with a received message that goes unanswered. The vibration continues, echoing in silence, symbolizing unresolved conflicts and words that can't be taken back. Quick cuts show shadowed figures on the beach, one running along the shoreline, fists clenched. Another watching from a distance, the wind tugging at their hair and clothes. The physical separation mirrors the emotional distance growing between. The music intensifies as tension escalates. The camera cuts to a slow-motion scene of a figure dropping a small keepsake into the sand. It tumbles end over end before disappearing beneath a gentle wave. The gesture is small but loaded with emotion-letting. Go, a silent goodbye, a heartbreak that words cannot capture. Text overlays flash briefly. Choices have consequences. Some bonds cannot survive the summer. The focus shifts to a faceless figure opening a journal. The camera zooms over the page, showing handwriting that hints at confessions, secret desires, and personal pain. Lines are partially visible. I can't stay silent any longer. If only things could go back. The camera cuts away before fully revealing the words. Keeping the mystery alive, cut to another shadowed silhouette standing under a dim street lamp at twilight. Rain begins to fall, the sound sharp against the quiet night. The figure turns abruptly, as though hearing a voice they cannot see, and for a moment, tension is palpable, someone else is near, emotions tangled, but the identity remains hidden. The camera lingers on the falling rain, each drop catching the light, mirroring the tears that remain unseen but deeply felt. Quick flashes punctuate the scene, a slammed door, a thrown jacket, a hand brushing against another that pulls away. Every moment is faceless but charged with emotion, showing the unspoken arguments, the silent regrets, and the heartbreak building toward inevitable confrontation. Music rises to a subtle, dramatic peak, blending a low hum of tension with the soft, almost mournful sound of wind over the waves. The section closes with a wide shot of the beach at dusk, silhouettes scattered along the sand, moving in different directions, emotionally and physically apart. The camera slowly pulls upward, revealing dark clouds gathering over the horizon. Text overlays appear one last time in this section. The truth is coming, hearts will be tested. Nothing will stay the same. The music fades slightly, leaving a haunting echo of anticipation, preparing the viewer for the next section where Conrad's return will shake everything even further. The scene opens on a quiet pier at sunset. The sky is painted with streaks of pink and orange, but the mood is heavy, shadows stretching long across the weathered wood. A lone figure appears at the far end, backlit by the dying sunlight. Faceless and distant, their movements deliberate, each step echoing softly across the boards. The camera slowly zooms in on the figure's boots as they make contact with the pier, the sound crisp, commanding attention without revealing a face. Text overlay flickers briefly, someone familiar returns. Cut to a wide shot of the shoreline, where faceless silhouettes of characters stand scattered, watching the horizon, unaware of the approaching presence. Waves crash against the sand, louder than before, as if the ocean itself senses the coming change. The camera pans along the shore to a half-buried message in the sand, barely readable. Everything will change. The wind sweeps over it, almost erasing the words. Mirroring the fragile stability of relationships on the verge of disruption, the music rises in a slow, suspenseful crescendo. Quick, shadowed cuts show objects reacting to Conrad's implied arrival, a door swinging open with a gust of wind, a chair tipping slightly, a hat rolling across a porch. Each small movement carries weight, signaling tension, anticipation, and unspoken emotion. Text overlays flash in quick succession. Secrets won't stay hidden. Hearts will collide. The camera shifts to a faceless silhouette of a character pausing at the top of the staircase, their hand gripping the railing tightly. They seem to sense someone approaching. A soft gust of wind blows across the scene, ruffling papers on a table, below a letter, a photograph, a keychain, all hinting at past memories and unspoken confessions. Music slows for a moment, leaving only the sound of the ocean and the faint crunch of footsteps on gravel. Next, the trailer cuts to an overhead shot of a beach house at dusk. Windows glow faintly, shadows shifting inside. Inside, faceless figures react subtly. A hand brushes across a framed photo. Another reaches for a letter. A third stands frozen in front of a window. The scene communicates shock, hesitation, and unspoken questions. A quick flash reveals a handwritten note on a table. "I never expected this." Its meaning ambiguous, adding to the suspense. Cut to a close-up of footprints in the sand, one set heading toward the water, another leading away from the pier. They meet briefly and then diverge, symbolizing conflict and reunion, expectation and uncertainty. The camera shifts to a faceless figure standing alone, silhouetted against the glowing horizon. The figure reaches into a pocket and pulls out a small familiar object, a necklace, a key, or a keepsake that has emotional significance to the characters left behind. The music swells, a dramatic pause emphasizing the importance of this return. A series of quick cuts follow, a shadowed figure running along the shoreline, hand outstretched as if trying to grasp something unattainable. A faceless figure dropping. A letter in slow motion, the wind catching it and sending it fluttering toward the ocean. Hands brushing briefly and pulling away, signaling tension, longing, and unresolved emotion. A flash of sunlight hitting a tear-shaped drop of water on a railing, highlighting heartbreak and anticipation simultaneously. The camera then pans to a faceless silhouette standing on the beach, watching the waves. Another shadow approaches from behind, movement hesitant but deliberate. The audience senses that this encounter will change everything. Music reaches a suspenseful peak, mixing soft piano notes with the rising hum of strings, giving the impression that a revelation is imminent. The section ends with a dramatic wide shot, the pier, the beach, and the approaching figure in shadow. Text overlays appear boldly. Conrad is back. The summer will never be the same. The ocean roars in the background, waves crashing against rocks as the screen fades to a subtle, suspenseful black. The silence that follows lingers, leaving viewers tense, eager, and emotionally invested in the upcoming final section where the cliffhangers and revelations will unfold. Asterisk, the scene opens with a wide shot of the beach at twilight. The sky is painted with dusky purples and deep blues, waves rolling steadily toward the shore. Faceless silhouettes of characters scatter along the sand, moving in different directions, each absorbed in their own emotions. One figure stands still, shoulders stiff, head slightly bowed, while another hesitates at the water's edge, hand brushing the wet sand. The camera glides slowly over the scene, capturing the stillness before the storm and almost palpable tension hanging in the air. Text overlay appears. The choices you make will change everything. A sudden gust of wind sweeps across the beach, sending scattered papers, letters, and photographs flying into the air. One photograph flutters close to the camera, edges curled and blurred, teasing the audience with glimpses of smiles and moments that were once happy. The wind carries whispers muted, ghostly voices of laughter and arguments reminding viewers of the memories and heartbreaks tied to these faceless characters. Music rises slowly, a haunting piano melody layered over a soft swell of strings, amplifying the sense of longing and unresolved tension. Cut to a shadowed silhouette standing on a pier, gazing out at the horizon. The camera zooms in on the figure's hand, clenched into a fist around a small, mysterious object. Its significance is left ambiguous, hinting at secrets yet to be revealed. A faint reflection of the sunset catches the edge of the object, suggesting that it holds the power to shift relationships, reveal truths, or ignite conflict. The scene lingers, emphasizing anticipation, before cutting abruptly to another faceless figure walking along the beach, footprints trailing behind them in the wet sand. Each step echoes quietly, punctuating the growing suspense. Quick, rapid cuts follow, building emotional intensity, a faceless figure turning sharply toward an unseen presence, hand raised as if reaching for someone only to recoil in hesitation. A letter being torn in half, the fragments carried away by the wind. A dropped keepsake rolling across the sand, momentarily catching the fading light before disappearing. Waves crashing dramatically against rocks, the water foaming, symbolizing turbulent emotions that cannot be contained. The camera pans upward to a slow-motion scene of two faceless silhouettes standing apart on the shoreline, the gap between them wide but charged with unspoken tension. The music intensifies with a subtle heartbeat rhythm, rising in tempo as the figures hesitate, then step toward each other, but the moment is interrupted. A sudden cut to black creates a sharp break in the narrative, leaving the audience suspended, wondering if reconciliation or heartbreak will follow. Text overlays appear in bold, hearts will be tested, secrets will surface, nothing will stay the same. Next, the trailer shifts to a close-up of hands leaving messages in the sand, one hand gently writing, another erasing, both movements symbolic of past connections and attempts to rewrite or escape destiny. The camera pans to the ocean now, dark and restless, waves crashing against the shore in a rhythmic, almost threatening cadence. A single faceless silhouette stands at the water's edge, looking out at the horizon, the wind whipping through their hair. Their posture conveys both anticipation and fear, leaving viewers to imagine the emotional weight they carry. The scene transitions to a series of fleeting, faceless glimpses of key objects and gestures, a bracelet slipping from a wrist, falling into the sand, a crumpled note with words half visible, "I can't." Shadowed figures pausing mid-step, their body language tense and uncertain. Rippling water reflecting a faceless figure's silhouette, distorted and mysterious. Symbolizing the uncertainty of the coming revelations, the final moments of the trailer build to a subtle but powerful crescendo. Music swells, blending strings and piano with a soft wind motif. The camera slowly pans upward from the darkened beach to the horizon, the sky fading to deep navy. Text overlays appear one last time. The Summer I Turned Pretty S3E10 Heartbreak. Secrets in Conrad's return. Don't miss the season finale. The trailer ends on a haunting pause. The screen cuts to black, leaving only the sound of waves gently crashing and a faint, lingering heartbeat. Silence follows. Viewers are left suspended in anticipation, their curiosity piqued, hearts racing and emotions primed for the full episode.